For me, it is about making sure that we all work together to market our city and to have people come and experience who we are.
For as long as I've been with the city, the Convention Visitors Bureau, or now Experience Burnsville, has been one of our best partners. The Convention Bureau has always been willing to step up and partner with people, help them run their events, help them, line up the hotel rooms. It's just a very great partnering organization.
Experience Burnsville was wonderful because it's that other part of what makes our community great. And it is about marketing Burnsville.
Burnsville struggled with its identity for years and years and years as far as being, well, it's basically just a little rural area with a big freeway going through the middle of it and a shopping center.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the image. And nobody wanted that. They wanted something more than that. They wanted to be a downtown. They wanted to have some identity. They wanted to be diverse. They wanted to do a lot of things that would kind of have people stand up and notice it as a city.
And I think that's the type of partnership that organizations in the city and everyone else looks to from our Convention Bureau, is to be able to give that marketing piece.
We did travel trade shows in Sioux Falls, Fargo, Milwaukee, Des Moines, Winnipeg, Thunder Bay. Actually, Burnsville was one of the first convention bureaus that traveled to Thunder Bay, and we had a lot of visitors that came down from Thunder Bay, loved the Burnsville area. Another area of growth was in our hotels. We had 7 hotels when I started. We ended up with 10 in 10 years. We had 10 hotels. The Super Bowl in 1992, and we housed people out here. We had volunteers stationed at our hotels that would answer questions for people coming in, where to eat, where to go shopping, whatever they needed to do in between the Super Bowl activities. The Star of the North State Games in Burnsville was a 10-day event of all sorts of different sporting events.
And Burnsville was the largest.
Burnsville was the largest.
In the history.
Almost 15,000 athletes, 10,000 volunteers.
We had the standard things you'd think of: basketball, softball, swimming, but we had sailboat racing, we had taekwondo, we had boxing, we had a cycling race on some Burnsville streets, we did canoeing on the river. Basically, we accommodated any sporting group that was willing to come forward and help us run their competition during the Star of the North Games. We were the 3rd Star of the North Games, and they're still in existence today, and we are still have the history of being the largest.
Southern Gateway to Minneapolis. You can see it all from here because we were in the center of all the attractions, just close enough. Yeah. All of them were tied to Burnsville location to all of the attractions in the metro area.
I think, just the location of that Burnsville is so close to everything was always such a strength. That a lot of what we did was really based on the fact that, in Burnsville you can see it all from here. Understanding that southern Minnesota and the Iowa market, as well as Canada, were really target markets that had been established, and Burnsville was really a recognizable name in those communities, and the fact that we had a regional shopping center here, and we were so close to major attractions like the Minnesota Zoo and Valley Fair. So, we really expanded on those markets. We also did some sales missions for the state of Minnesota where we could leverage our brand and the state of Minnesota brand internationally. So the state of Minnesota, Explore Minnesota, developed a trade show in Iceland, and so Burnsville was part of attending some of those trade shows. As the economy struggled a bit in 9/11, we also learned the value of what a staycation meant, and that was kind of a popular term that evolved out of that. And so we also did a lot of marketing that was more regional, just within Minnesota.
At the time I was a resident in Burnsville and thought to myself, I know so much about Minneapolis and Bloomington, but I don't really know a whole lot about Burnsville, so that's how I got involved and kind of fell in love. I mean, I already loved the city because I was a resident, but then got to know more and more people through the business community, and with this opportunity to work for the destination marketing organization, I thought it was a chance of a lifetime for me. The Convention and Visitors Bureau, back when I started It's all about our 1-800 number and getting people to call after they saw our advertising and request our visitor guide. The biggest changes I've seen for destination marketing and for Experience Burnsville is our website is our bread and butter. We no longer print a visitor guide. Our 800 phone number seldom rings. In fact, Amie and I kind of joke that when the phone does ring, it startles us at times. Over the last 10 years, the Convention and Visitors Bureau has really seen the city of Burnsville, our destination, change in many different ways.
We are basically the retail hub of Dakota County. If you look at the pull radius of the Burnsville Center, the pull radius it goes all the way to Des Moines, Iowa. If you go to the Burnsville Center in the wintertime and you look at the different letter jackets, you will see letter jackets from all over southern Minnesota. And many of those are weekend shopping excursions.
And they stay in our hotels, they eat in our restaurants, and they shop in our retail establishments.
We see roughly 11.5 million visitors annually here at Burnsville Center, so it's a busy place. Burnsville Center was built and managed by Homart Development back in 1977. It opened in August of 1977. The primary market was roughly around 200,000 people, and today it's over 400,000. So you can imagine the growth. This community is one of the most warm, welcoming, encouraging communities it's been my privilege to be a part of. And it just makes working and business in this community just fantastic.
Heart of the City actually came out of a process that we held called visioning. And initially, what we were looking for was some streetscape, kind of make it a little bit nicer. And as we got engaged in the streetscaping efforts, a number of our citizens said, you know, this was supposed to be our downtown. And of course, when Burnsville Center came to Burnsville, that type of activity moved up onto County Road 42. And the idea was to create a very walkable, urban type downtown area. And I think it is an area that not only do our residents recognize it as something unique, but I think out of town people recognize it as something unique.
One of the biggest contributor to Experience Burnsville is the Ames Center, our Performing Arts Center. This is a driver for economic development, for visitors to Burnsville.
The Ames Center, our Performing Arts Center that opened in 2009, was a really large project for the city, its residents and businesses, and the CVB was very excited from the start of the project through now we office out of the Ames Center.
It was the piece, the final piece that really, I think, was part of the City Council's vision for making Burnsville an attractive place to visit. We needed something. We needed something to make this community special, and it was almost there, and this Performing Arts Center put it there.
We can't forget Buck Hill. Buck Hill is our ski enterprise that brings people from all over the country. They train here. We have Olympians who have come out of Buck Hill, and it is a great driver for bringing not only residents to Buck Hill, but visitors to Buck Hill.
The first years when we cleared the land with friends and with hardly any equipment. I mean, like a borrowed chainsaw and a borrowed axe and maybe a lawnmower too, and a lot of friends, because we started Buck Hill with $3,700, which is not really very much money.
I know that you've often said that, you know, they capitalized right away on snowmaking the minute that started to come out, and shorter skis, the skis have gone backwards in length. Snowboarding was not around, that came in the end of the 80s, and we just keep adapting to the people out there, and added tubing in 2000, and that was a hit from the get-go.
It's such a unique situation to have a ski area right in the heart of your city, practically.
Serving on the CVB board, Bill Van Bank was the guy in charge at the time, and we had a lot of fun. It provided me with another look at how other industries in the tourist industry work together.
And there really isn't another Buck Hill. None of them were able to survive through development pressures or adversities of weather or whatnot. And so we're really an abnormality in the ski industry to have a ski area that is set amongst an urban environment is really one and only. To develop the other 3 seasons, you know, we are close or at capacity in the winter season, and there's certainly things that we would want to do to improve the experience or whatnot during the winter seasons, but it's the spring, summer, and fall that are wide open.
Burnsville offers a wide variety of dining, shopping, parks, bike trails, our proximity to both downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul. It's a great small town with a very cosmopolitan feel and a lot of amenities.
So I'm very proud of the work that our Experience Burnsville is doing to market Burnsville to our neighboring states, but also across the world.
Experience Burnsville, happy 30th anniversary, and cheers to another 30 years.
Experience Burnsville, and hopefully you'll have another great 30.
Well, here's to another 30 years.
The happy big 3-0, Experience Burnsville, way to go.
Happy anniversary, Experience Burnsville, and here's to another happy 30 years.
Happy 30th anniversary, Burnsville, and here's to 30 more.
Happy 30th anniversary, Burnsville Experience. Cheers to another 30 years.
Experience Burnsville, happy 30th anniversary, and cheers to another 30.